Hey, what's up, y'all? It's your girl, Miss Abby94, and you already know what it is. I'm back at it again with the back at it again with another recap. This has been week 5. A lot went down, y'all. We have a lot to discuss, so you already know what you gotta do. You got to stay tuned, okay? Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome back to my channel. You have come to the right place. If you don't know me by now, my name is Evie Sayo, also known as the Black girl who watches The Bachelor and Bachelorette, and you are tuned into my week 5 recap. Now, first of all, I try my best to do live streams, and I did not do one this week because for whatever reason, my laptop decided that it does not want to play sound anymore. So I'm currently struggling with a laptop that doesn't play sound, which affects all other parts of my life besides just these recaps and live streams. So yeah, y'all pray for my laptop, anointing and all of that on my laptop because it's trying it, and I don't know. I don't know. The theme of this episode was why people are falling in love, people are getting in their feelings. There's just a lot to discuss, so let's get into it. Week 5, we are here, and you already know that we are starting the week off in Vegas. We hear a bunch of quotes from Becca talking about what this week is going to mean. She's using a whole lot of cheesy ass, intro lines like, oh, Vegas is the perfect place to roll the dice on love, and I'm so excited to take a chance to see where things go. We're just getting a lot of reference to what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, but more like what happens in Vegas hopefully progresses all of the Bachelorette relationships. They are staying at the Aria. So any of y'all who've ever been to Vegas, that's on the Strip. It's one of the main ones on the Strip. It does have a casino and all of that. And it's clear that Aria cut the check and that sponsorship. Okay, so most of the activities do happen in front or around the Aria on the Strip of Las Vegas. We do see the guys enter into their suite in the Aria, and oh my goodness, y'all, like, this place is incredible. It has like 2 floors. It has a second floor with a bunch of, sleeping area, seating area. Then the downstairs has seating area as well. A jacuzzi, bar. I'm sure it's just like a whole ass vibe and mood. And it just made me feel like, damn, one day, man. I probably can speak for everyone here when I say this is definitely the best place they've gone so far, even though they've only gone to one place, Park City, and y'all know how I feel about that. But being in Vegas, it makes me feel like, okay, there's going to be some excitement this episode, and there's going to be some changes in these relationships because, we desperately need it. We see the guys sitting on their couch, and they are discussing who they think the first one-on-one date is going to go to. We're hearing a bunch of the guys, talking about how they would love to get this time, how they feel very confident about where they are, just the normal week 5 running of the mouth. And most specifically, we see Chris talking about how confident he feels about Becca. He's literally saying, we are in such a good place. I feel so strongly about her, and I really believe I'm about to get this one-on-one this week. We also hear our quiet friend. Is he a friend? Let's just call him a friend. Jason is also talking about how he thinks he might be getting the one-on-one. So quite a few of these guys who have been doing okay this season are feeling like this date is going to them. The one-on-one date card does come, and it is addressed to Colton. Yes, Colton is still around. Yes, Colton is still in the running. And now Colton is getting the first one-on-one in Vegas. So I don't know what that man is doing. We do see Colton in his confessional talking about how he feels about Becca and love in general. One thing we do hear him say is that he's not a big risk taker. He doesn't tend to take risks when it comes to love. And I don't necessarily know what he means by that, but he did harp on the fact that he doesn't have a lot of experience when it comes to love. For me, this is a bit shocking just because we've heard about his past relationships, very public past relationships with the Olympic gymnast Ellie Raisman. We obviously know he has hooked up with Tia. So it's interesting to hear him say that he's an inexperienced in dating and love in general. And I'm just kind of like, okay, what Colton are we gonna get today? Because at this point, I feel like we've been sold three different Coltons. Colton, the one with the non-for-profit. Colton, the one who dated your girl. Colton, the one who's now inexperienced in love. I'm just like, okay, sir. We gonna need you to pick one story and stick to it, okay? Thanks. We're expecting this first one-on-one date to be, typical Vegas activities, the strip, casino, going to a bar or a club, but that does not happen. They are on a ranch of some sort, and Becca is dressed like she's getting ready to ride a horse, and Colton comes on looking very confused. He's looking like, okay, I thought y'all said we was going to Vegas. Because this looked like it's probably an hour away from the strip or something, and he just looking like, where y'all bring me? They brought him to a ranch, and Becca announces that they will be riding camels. Now, cue the applause. That's what they needed to do because Colton was looking like, excuse me, this is the one-on-one date I waited for? Riding camels in Vegas? Come again? Come again. I was definitely laughing so hard because his facial expressions the whole time were killing me. They get on these camels, man, and literally they're riding the camels. Just envision this. Camel riding in Vegas. Just if you ever go to Vegas, don't forget to camel ride. They're trying to have conversations and it's awkward. Like, it's always awkward trying to talk to someone as you're riding and like, what? He puts his hand out to grab Becca so that they can at least bring their camels closer together. And literally Becca's camel swerves Colton. It's like, Becca's camel said, you thought. He is big mad, y'all. He was looking shook. He was looking upset that he couldn't even finesse any type of closeness or connection to try to get to that next level on this date. And you could tell he hated this time. He hated being on these camels. And I think Becca started to sense that because she goes, what are you thinking? Are you okay? And he's just like, yeah, I'm great. I love this. We do see them flash back to the guys. David is discussing how roses are dwindling. He's talking to the guys and telling them how insecure he's getting as the weeks are going by. He's realizing that things are getting tougher, connections are getting stronger, and there's not as many roses to go around. Like, she's not just gonna be keeping you to keep you. David is definitely worried about how long he's going to last in this game. So we'll probably see more about that coming up. So back to Colton and I said Tia. Becca announces that Colton and her are going to be getting into a hot tub. Yeah. Y'all know that every outdoor date, they always have to have a hot tub somewhere. What date does this remind y'all of? Ari and Becca M's date aired just like this. They rode horses outside and then they got in the hot tub. Like, y'all Bachelor producers, listen, hear ye. We are tired. The hot tub is cute sometimes, but y'all can't be using it every season. They get into the hot tub. We're hearing Colton talk about how glad he is that they were able to get through the Tia situation and build a solid foundation. Earlier, he was mentioning how he felt like that was something that got in between their connection. He's really just telling Becca that he feels confident in their relationship and he's really glad that they got a one-on-one. I think Becca has sensed that maybe the earlier part of the date wasn't as strong as she would have hoped, or that Colton wasn't all the way into it, because she does check in with him again and make sure that he's having fun, and also tells him that she feels like they're on the same page. So I think she's just trying to give Colton some level of reassurance. As y'all know, she is very into this man's face and body, because let's be real, that's what's keeping him. And she just wants to make sure that he feels comfortable and that he knows that she is over the Tia situation. We'll see about that. So Colton and Tia are eating dinner. And the first thing I noticed is they do a pan and shot of Colton's face, and man, he was greasy AF. I was looking like, which bachelor intern produces somebody? Hand that man a napkin. He gets into kind of his past relationships, and he talks about how he has only really had one relationship where he felt completely in love with the person. And he says that he told his ex-girlfriend he loved her and she never said it back. And this prompts Becca to ask, okay, is that why y'all broke up? Did she break up with you? And he said, yeah, she broke up with me. I feel like something about Colton is a little bit disingenuous. I don't care. It's cool for him to say he's inexperienced and he's only really been in love once. But just the way he was talking about the situation, I was just like, I don't buy it. I don't buy it. I'm still side-eyeing him regarding the whole Tia situation. Something feels very forceful. It feels very forced. It feels like he wants a story to really hook her in. He wants to come off like the guy who is vulnerable but got hurt too. You know what I'm saying? He came on having talked to one of her friends. That's just so awkward to me and odd. And it just makes me think, I just don't think I could ever look at him like my guy anymore, or like someone I would be interested in if I felt like there was a crack or an opening with a friend. And I just wonder how Becca pushes through and sees so much with him. Even after he says all of these kind of, to me, red flags, Becca just goes on to say, no, I don't judge you. He doesn't frivolously give out I love yous, and that's something that she can appreciate and admire. And she does see as a red flag is the fact that he associates pain with love. I don't know at what point during the conversation at dinner did he mention that, but that's something that she heard from him, and that to her is her only doubt with him. Sis, look closer. Just a little closer. So now we see Becca and Colton in a stretch limo. They're out of the sunroof. They are just woo, woo. They're screaming. There's a big awning or sign that says kiss me, and I'm just like, damn, did they rent out the whole strip for this? Because it didn't look like anybody was on the street. It looks like everything they talked about during the date, all of the red flags that might exist, that is not keeping Becca from enjoying him. She tells him like, oh my God, as she's kissing him and she's in his arms, she's just like, I feel so comfortable, and I feel so, basically I feel so comfortable and safe with you. And I'm really happy that we're on this date. And she definitely tells him, wow, I'm feeling this. Becca, no. Alert, he's not the one. The guys are gathered at the window and they see the kiss me sign and they're just like, oh my God, is that for Colton and Becca? Blah, blah, blah. I'm just like, sit your asses. Producers, we are tired of these scenes. Stop waking them up from their sleep to come try to find something about the date. We are tired. Please. Thank you. Colton in his confessionals talking about how he is falling in love with Becca. I found it quite hilarious that he just talked about how he has only said I love you once and he doesn't give that away easily. And now, after like 2 weeks of knowing her, he's talking about he's falling in love with Becca. I'm just like, I guess that information tickled Becca because Colton does get a rose. And it looks like, from what I'm looking like, Colton and Becca are going to be a thing for a long time. I think as long as Becca allows herself to be blinded by how cute and charming he is and everything he represents, let's be real, he probably got a good amount of money. He has a nonprofit. He's coming on here, with a little bit of like clout, a little bit of fame. He's dated famous people. So if you're looking at what that represents, that's a little intriguing to someone who is on a platform like Becca. So I think all of the things he represents is what is keeping that interest there. And it's making her blinded because, to me, I just don't see how she can get over the red flags because they're glaring. They're glaring. So now we're back with the guys and we see them all gathered to see who is getting the next date. Now we hear the card is being read, and it's a group date, and it's gonna be about 9 of the guys, and they are looking pretty excited. The only thing is the names were read off and 2 were left off. Y'all want to know who those were? Jordan and David. And you know what that means? They're going on the 2-on-1. Y'all know that's gonna be juicy, but not just yet. We gotta go on this group date. So we see the guys approaching this big house looking estate place. They see Becca and they're so excited to see her. We hear in the confessional guys saying, oh my God, I've missed her. It's been so long. We're hearing that from Chris in his confessional. He's talking about how excited he is for this date and how he knows that this time will progress their relationship forward because they are in a solid spot. We're also hearing Garrett mentioning how excited he is about her and how excited he is about spending time with her and just how he sees himself moving forward and progressing. So there's definitely a range of emotions between the guys. It does seem like some guys are more confident than others, and it'll be cool to see what this group date is going to do for the progression of those relationships. She says that they're going to be joined by Wayne Newton. Whoever that is, insert his info here. So rude. I have to make a note on our good friend Becca's outfit choice. Sis, I wasn't feeling it. She had on like this little black tank top with 2 little necklaces and then like pump heels. I was just like, what? Who? No, it was a no, but I still love you, boo. Wayne Newton comes out and he gets a lot of cheers from the guys. And again, I wonder, do y'all even know who this man is? You might want to slow down on the cheers before you hear what he has in store for you today. He shows them around his estate. I think he owned it. So he walks them around the property. He shows them Frank Sinatra's like microphone and instrument and music, and he's just showing them all of this musical history, and a lot of the guys look like they're super impressed. Then they get back to what looks like a garden, and Wayne Newton announces that this date is not just a show and tell. It's not just sightseeing. They're going to be writing lyrics to a song called Don't Ashamed. This song is really rooted in love, and the best results come when you sing it to someone that you feel love feelings with. So he, calls out his wife and he starts singing to her, and I'm just like, are you sure you're singing, sir? Because don't shame. He was pitchy. It was pitchy as hell. They'll be coming up with their own lyrics and singing it for Becca. So the guys all split up and they start, writing their lyrics. First things foremost, we hear Chris talking about how he got this on lock. He just had a date like this at Capitol Records. He's like, I've been doing this. I've been writing music. I've been here. What's good? Like, Chris is really feeling himself right now. We see a little more humility from some of the other guys who are just like, I hope I get this right. Leo is one of them. Wills is one of them. They're just reflecting and trying to come up with something that makes sense on that page. So it's going to be very funny to hear what these guys have come up with. So Wayne starts making rounds and he starts with Lincoln. Now, Lincoln, he starts singing a song in his native tongue, which I believe Lincoln is Igbo, which is a Nigerian tribe. So I'm pretty sure he's singing it in Igbo, and he's just singing about his lady and how his special lady has his eye, and he is completely flat and off beat, but it's super cute and funny, the tone he's giving. And I'm just like, please, if y'all have to perform this, please sharpen it, please clean it up. Please clean it up. We need you to clean it up. Then we see Wayne go up to Wills, and Wills is freaking singing in French. I was just like, Wills, you cute or whatever. Hey, what's up? How you doing? What's up? He talks to Garrett. And Garrett is taking the approach of goofiness. He's singing, he's off beat. He's almost rapping with it. He's trying to just be goofy. Y'all know how he is. Chris is very serious with his lyrics. He's talking about how much he likes Becca, what she means to him. And what I noticed is that during this time of practice, he's definitely off beat. And Wayne Newton notices that too, and he just tells him, "Oh, you got a great start or whatever, but maybe catch the beat here, The date does not end here. All of this practice and all of the lyrics they put together, they are going to have to pull off for Becca and an audience, and I can already see the disaster happening. The first one we kind of see is John. Now, we haven't seen much from John this episode, but we do know that John, he really stood out last episode and did his thing and got our attention by winning that whole, lumberjack challenge, and he got on all of our radar. So I was rooting for John this episode, but that rooting didn't really help him out because he was he was so offbeat. Garrett, who again is going with the goofy avenue, and he again is offbeat as well. He tries to, work the room, and it does not work out in his favor. He is he's offbeat. I think the theme of this whole day is offbeat, off tempo, and just dry as hell. What are y'all doing? Thank goodness for the fact that they put Chris last, because he is the only hope that they had. Chris actually came out like, what's good? He came out like, I'm about to work this room. And he gets the crowd laughing and engaged. And I'm thinking to myself, this is a great tactic. Work the room so that you can distract them if you're singing off beat. And he does that perfectly. He goes up to Becca. He starts singing his lyrics in her face. He even pulls her up at one point. Then he has a whole ass chorus, which I think was genius because he gets the crowd involved and has them, do a sing back with the chorus. So I definitely think as far as the singing goes, Chris had it on lock. He had those things in line, and I was like, this is how you work a crowd. Okay, Chris. So we see them at the cocktail party, and I think the theme of the cocktail party is Chris is losing his mind. He feels like he did the best. He's not getting that, acknowledgement for Becca. And he is starting to just unravel. He's unraveling, and he can't stop. He's hoping that tonight and getting time with her will help really facilitate this connection. Becca talks to Garrett. Again, the chemistry is crazy between them. I'm noticing that, they're hugged up super tight. She's asking him, I hope you didn't forget about me. And he asked her the same thing. It just seems like they're on the same wavelength, and they are constantly asking each other and making sure that, are we on the same page? Do you like me as much as I like you? And it's just clear to me that she is reassuring him about how much she missed him and how good she thought he did on the date, and just things like that. And I'm just like, okay, whatever. It's kind of cute between them, but again, third date cart has arrived, and we know it's a 2-on-1, so there's no dun dun dun. David is constantly talking about how he feels like Jordan is not genuine. Jordan is gonna go home. He has this in the bag. He's not worried about this 2-on-1. He knows that they're solid. And I'm just like, I don't understand how David can be so obsessed. Like, I've never met anyone so obsessed in my life. Like, what are you doing? Every chance he gets to talk about what Jordan has done, how he's better than Jordan, he does it. It's just like overwhelming. Like, stop interacting with Jordan. Jordan, for real, honestly, no cap. He was minding his business this episode. Jordan knew what it was. He knew he's on this 2-on-1. Jordan knows he's not there to be serious. And David is so pressed about him. He keeps interacting and poking the bear, and I'm just like, Jordan really was chilling. I'm like, David, shut up. He's like, so are you gonna wear those gold underpants? And Jordan's like, what are you even talking talking about? Why are you asking me if I'm gonna wear my underwear? Like, what does that matter to you? And then he keeps talking about how, oh, I already know that it's a competition, and when it comes to it, I'm better suited. You're not here for the right reasons. And Jordan's literally just like, okay, like, you're so pressed about me. I honestly do believe that David, he came on here with good intentions, but it never goes well when you get so obsessed with another person. Like, let that hurt go, baby. He needs some milk. Let it go. Back at the cocktail party, we do see her talking to Blake. They pick up where they left off. They're talking about how everything has been going, how Blake has been feeling, how Becca has been feeling about him. And Blake starts hugging up on her and it's just like, I really missed you. I really want to be around you, but I'm happy to be on this group date. And he does mention to her that he is falling in love with her and he cannot wait to build on that. Becca doesn't say much to him in person, but in her confessional, we see her, she giddy as hell, y'all. She's talking about how she is so excited to hear that from Blake and that she can genuinely say that she's falling in love with him too. I was just like, Barrett and Blake are seeming to be front runners just based on how giddy, how excited, how happy she gets when she's talking about them. She tries to play it cool. If you notice, she tries to play it cool in front of them, but she spills all the tea in the confessional, and her body language, her smile, and her admission to falling in love with Blake says enough about how she's truly feeling about him. Y'all, she is smitten. She is a smitten kitten. So now we see the guys talking at the cocktail party, and we're seeing Chris again continue to talk about how he feels like so confident, but also really frustrated that he hasn't got to talk to her. The guys start asking him, why haven't you talked to her? Why don't you try to go find her? And he's just like trying to play it cool, like, you know, nothing, no big deal type of thing. It'll get to me when it gets to me. I'm confident that I'm going to get that rose based on my performance at the date. And he's just coming off a little too sure of himself. I think he thinks that his performance at the date is going to be enough to have gotten her attention and that she's going to come and get him. This thinking proves to be wrong because Becca comes back from her time with Blake. She sits down, she addresses all the guys and tells them how much fun she's had on the date. She grabs the group date rose and she says that this group date rose is going to Blake. She says how she feels like the relationship is progressing. She's super excited about where they are, and she's happy that her feelings are growing in that way. And they pan to Chris, y'all, and he is looking big mad. All we hear Chris say is that he might be going home tonight. He's gonna pack his stuff up and he's out of here. He cannot do this anymore. And honestly, as I hear Chris pouring out his heart, all I'm hearing is someone who is genuinely hurt. I think a lot of the backlash that Chris was receiving this episode was about how aggressive he was and just how annoying he was. And to me, it didn't come off as annoying. I honestly saw someone who was catching feelings and couldn't stand the fact that she's building connections with other people. I think he finally realized he's on this show. He finally realized that this shit has gotten real, and he cannot take the fact that there's all these moving parts that he cannot control. He's gaining emotions for her, and he doesn't know what to do about them. And I didn't find it annoying. I actually found it a little bit endearing. I thought that his crying about it and threatening to go home was over the top and much, but I did think that it was a result of him recognizing that he has real feelings for her. And to be honest, that's more emotion than I've seen from any other guy this season. So it made me really excited to see that type of energy. And it really let me know that there is someone here who potentially, even though I think it's genuine, potentially could go the full distance and give her that love she needs. Did I think his approach was right and threatening to go home? No. He does decide that that is not the right thing to do. So I definitely feel like pressure got to him. He was dealing with it as it came, and it's going to be interesting to see if that is going to influence his relationship with Becca. The most anticipated 2-on-1. We knew this was coming. We knew they've been building up. I almost feel so stupid for asking last week. If y'all know, I said that David and Becca, they have no chemistry. I could not find out for the life of me why he got a rose last week, because it was just so obvious to me that it was a big fat no. There was nothing going on there. And to see him on this episode, I'm just like, why is he here? And then when I realized that this week was 2-on-1, I was like, that is why he's here. Clearly the producers kept both Jordan and David for this, big anticipated date. And for good reason. They have the biggest beef of the season. We see the date start. Becca is leaning on a red Jeep in some, Daisy Duke, some booty shorts and a camo top, and they are in the desert. If y'all know, every 2-on-1 always has some hot ass location. I'm already knowing that it's gonna be some juicy ass wide cut shot of somebody getting left in this hot ass desert, and I'm hoping there's tears. Becca was looking like a snack. So Becca tells them that she's gonna be driving this Jeep and that they should hop in, and that even though 2-on-1s get a bad rap and it's not always the most ideal situation, she wants them to have fun and focus on building their individual relationships. Becca drives to an open spot in the desert. She pulls David aside. Now, David decides to do the thing that y'all know I hate the most. Instead of understanding that your ass is on the line too, he takes the approach of defamation. My cardinal rule number 1 is don't be a snitch bitch. And he is being a snitch bitch. He decides he's going to tell Becca, Jordan is not here for you. Jordan is always talking about other women. Jordan this, Jordan that. And I'm just like, David, you're obsessed. You're obsessed, and it's really disturbing, actually. It's disturbing to see you take your time with Becca and completely talk about Jordan. And then to drop a true bomb on Becca, he tells her that Jordan said that he would just be settling with Becca and that she is not like his top pick in life. Becca hears the word settling, and that's all she needed to hear. If y'all know, you know what the girl has been through. You know that basically all of her, not all of her, but the ones we've seen on TV, Ari, chose her and made her feel like he was settling with her. So obviously using a word like that is going to trigger a downfall of emotions. She's already coming off of the last episode with Jean Blanc telling her he's falling for her when he's not. She's just getting all of these reminders that guys might feel like she's not the creme de la creme. And settling, she didn't need to hear anything else David was saying. She says, we're gonna have to hash this out with Jordan. So then we see Becca and Jordan having a conversation, and Jordan, she brings up the fact of what David said to her. She says, did you say that you would be settling with me? And Jordan is just like, what? And then she says, did you say you wanted to hook up with other girls while you were here? And he denies. And I'm just like, you know what? He's probably thinking, ain't no cameras catch any of that, so you can't prove it. Even though it might be true, yet again, it's something that David cannot prove, and it's something that he took his personal time with Becca to talk about. It's just like, do you think she doesn't know this? Do you think she really wants to be with Jordan? Do you think she wanted to keep him this long? Do you think she likes him? She doesn't. Stop wasting your time and give yourself a fair chance of making it out of this 2-on-1 alive. But he has not caught on yet, and it makes me want to just... So we see Jordan make his way back to David, and he's just doing the typical 2-on-1, cursing the other person out. David, you're such a little bitch, man. You're a little bitch. I'm all up in your head. You have nothing else to talk about. All you do is talk about me. I've been minding my business. Like, I'm over here. I'm professional. I mind my business. I'm a model, blah, blah, blah. He tells him, you don't have your own personality. Stop trying to ride my personality for fame. He basically telling him, you know I'm the villain of the season, and you know you're going to get more attention on you if you argue with me. And he tells him, stop that. Stop playing with me. Basically, stop playing with me or square up. Being me is my greatest power, and you will never have that. I'm just like, Jordan, have a seat. Becca comes back in after hearing them arguing and is just like, literally, shut up. Just Shut up. And she sits down and she starts to get to the bottom of it. She asked Jordan in front of David, did you say that you would be settling? And he again denies it and says, I did not say that. So then she asked David, okay, when did he say that? How did he say that? And then David is like, well, he said something in conversation along the lines that might have sounded like maybe translated to maybe kind of meaning that you were settling, but he might not have said it exactly correlating directly to those wordings. David is so frustrating. He looks petty. He looks corny. He looks like he just shot himself in the foot. Becca picks up that rose and just like, okay, I've heard enough from both of you. I think, she turns to David, she says, I think this is where our time ends. And she turns to Jordan and says, I want to find out a little bit more about you and I would like to take you on the dinner date. And her and Jordan get up and walk away and David is looking like, wait, what? I just told you about how he said he didn't like you and I like you, but I didn't tell you I like you because I was telling you about all the things I said he was saying and how I'm going home. And I'm just looking like, ha ha ha, ha ha. This, folks, is what I like to call the karma of going against cardinal rule number 1. Don't try it at home, folks. Snitching will never get you to win. It just doesn't. And now he's going to be enjoying his nice hot time in the desert as he sits looking bewildered and just confused and blindsided. I don't know why he was looking blindsided because I think the signs were there. Jordan and Becca are going on the dinner date. I honestly don't even see why she took him on this date because, again, Jordan is just here to be the funny jokester, villain, here to pop off his career as the next Corinne. And it's clear in this date that that is the case. She gives him ample opportunity. He asks her, what do you do on the weekends? And you can see her eyes light up like, finally, Jordan has asked me something about myself. I get to talk about myself. So she starts talking about what she likes to do on the weekend. She tells him, I like to read on Saturday mornings and I like to really lounge around and stay in. And then on Sundays, I like to go to church with my girlfriends and we go to brunch. And basically, like, she has like a schedule. She has a routine that she really enjoys. And Jordan is just looking at her like, okay. Now, can we talk about me now? Me, I'm really into the gym. He gets into that Jordan voice again. I think at one part of this date, he did show a sensitive side and he did talk about how his parents were married for 27 years and how he's seen so much love and how his dad has supported his mom through mental health issues. He did get real for one tiny second, and I think that's what got him this dinner date. But back on the dinner date, he's no longer Jordan the person. He's back into character. And Becca realized, yeah, this guy's here for TV. He's not here for me. And I tried to give him a chance. But he's just talking about himself. I think Jordan knew what it was, and I think Jordan fully recognized that his time was coming to a close. And he's just, again, ready to get all of his lines off and make sure that the world hears all of his one-liners. After comparing our, connection to some of the other connections in the house, I just don't think I can give you the rose. I just don't think we'll get there. And it's been good getting to know you, but your time is up. She walks him out. He gets in the limo and he starts telling the camera about how he's back on the prowl. He doesn't understand why she didn't like him. He's going back to his life and he's going back to modeling. Jordan was a joke. You know how I feel about him. None of it was real. None of it was serious. He's a producer's pick. So was David. And they both went home. So the guys are all suited and booted and they're ready for the cocktail parties. A lot of the guys are realizing that this is their time to solidify their connection with Becca and every minute counts. Most specifically, Chris is realizing that he lost time during that date. He lost time to connect more with her. He even thought about leaving and he wants to get back on track with her. You owe me 50,000 kisses. And she looks at him like, excuse me? And he goes, I feel like we didn't get to talk and you just kind of gave out a rose last time without even talking to me. She stops him like, skirt, skirt, skirt. already know what's going on. I already heard that you were thinking of leaving, and like, what's that about? I felt like we were losing that connection. I felt like you weren't feeling me anymore, and it made me feel like we're not where we were before. And she's just like, I honestly felt like you didn't come and find me during the day. You didn't take that initiative. And after having a hard week with the whole Jean Blanc situation, you already know my past. I need someone who's going to make sure that I know they're into me, make that effort. And I think for good reason. She is the Bachelorette. She is, coming from a hard position. And I think she's just looking for a guy who's going to put that effort in and put that work in. We're seeing two people who were too hell-bent on their pride, which happens. I'm not judging, but they're hell-bent on their pride and they didn't want to go talk to the person first because they felt like the other person should have talked to them. And look, now they're both mad at the same thing that they both could have prevented. And I'm getting that feeling of like, oh my God, this could be a true connection because there is such an anger there between the both of them, seriousness there between the both of them when they felt like the other one neglected them or would leave them or would hurt them. And I think that says a lot about how much they care about each other. Becca is not hearing Chris. She's just like, I need some time. I need some space. I didn't like the fact that you were just going to up and leave. And it just makes me think differently of you. She leaves him with, I want you to think about if this is what you want. He goes back to the group of guys and he starts telling them what happened. She's doubting me now after I felt like I was doubting her. How could she doubt me? Like he's in his feelings hard. He's in his feelings hard. And at this point, this was where I was like, yo, Chris, this point kind of annoyed me. I was like, bruh, go up to her, tell her I'm sorry. If you would have done that, it would have been a little bit better. They're both just like, okay, you gonna take the blame? Okay, you gonna take the blame? Okay, you gonna say sorry? Okay, you gonna say sorry? The guys are trying to give Chris some advice. Garrett starts saying, you can't be freaking out like this. She needs someone who's gonna be around. Obviously, she's been through a lot, so look at it from her shoes. We see her speaking with our good friend Wills. Now we know Wills has made some great progress since his one-on-one last week. And we hear them talking about what they're always talking about. How he's a nerd and how she's a nerd. And they're going back and forth telling each other how, no, you're a nerd. Oh no, but you're a cool nerd. But no, you're a cute nerd. Their connection is definitely the most unique. The connection and the chemistry is very easygoing. I don't see this overwhelming electricity, but I do think that after seeing his one-on-one date last week and his time in this moment right here, I'm thinking that he is going to be the last black man standing. They're vibing, and then Chris decides that he wants to interrupt the conversation so that he can rectify things with Becca. Someone's about to get checked. Hey, Wills, can I still Becca? And Becca, what I think is pretty cool, she tells him, you know what, we just sat down. It's only been a few minutes. Wills is just like, he's doing that face, like that face of conceited, that gif where it's just like, nah, bro. Wills is just like, I haven't been here long. I really don't feel like I need to move. And Chris is just like, please, just a few more minutes. And so Wills is like, okay, I'll give you a few minutes. But then I'm coming back. Wills gets up. And is it within earshot, and he's literally just gallivanting around the property. You see Wills, he's in the bushes, he's looking at the trees, he's sitting on the little bench, and you could tell he's in earshot. He tells her that the old me would have left, and I'm still here because I want to be here. But the new me wants to stay because I understand that I will be walking away from a situation that I know I could be the best partner, I could be the best husband, and I know that I have feelings for you, and that's the reason why I'm reacting like this. So he asks her, do you see potential in me? I'm not about to give you the answer you want right now. I'm about to make you suffer. That's the vibe I was getting. She wasn't trying to answer him. She wasn't trying to give him too much. She just told him like, bro, that really hurt me, and it's not cool. It's not cool at all. And he, again, apologizes and he says, I completely messed up. It's completely my fault and I'm sorry. In the midst of him almost getting a response from Becca about does she still feel potential between them, Wills comes back in the picture. And he's just like, okay, time is up. Chris looks at him like, I'm almost done. Can you give me just like 2 more minutes? Can you give me 2 more minutes? Will said, activate, brother. Even his stance was so hood. He was just like, nah, bro, you gonna have to get up. This is so sexy. Y'all. Oh, Wills was so funny this moment. Can I get 2 minutes? And Wills was like, nah, bruh, get up. You don't got no minutes. Becca is looking between the both of them like, Becca was liking it. She was liking it. Don't let none of the bouginess or the stoicness fool you. Becca was liking that. She saw a little bit of hood in Will. She saw a little bit of like, nah, we not doing that. She saw that between the guys, like guys fighting over her, and she liked that. She was quiet. And that let me know that she was almost like a little attracted to the fact that these guys were so adamant about getting that time with her. You infringed on my time. I gave you time. I got it from my seat. You got to go, bruh. You got to go. Wills was not backing down, and I just thought that was so sexy. Chris was big mad. He could not believe that Wills did not back down. And Becca tries to, at the end, mediate and jump in and say, hey, Chris, I will come get you. He gets up and he gives Wills the side eye as he's leaving. And as soon as Will sits down with Becca, I mean, I kid you not, nanoseconds after he sits down, Becca hugs up on him. I'm just like, she was just like, what were we talking about? I was like, I told y'all she loved that. She saw that a little bit of aggression and she was ready to risk it all. Back with the group of guys, we hear Chris telling the guys what happened with Wills, and they're just telling him like, bro, you got to understand where we're coming from. A lot of us haven't had time tonight. A lot of us haven't, gotten to progress our relationship, and you had two chances with her. And they're just like, bro, you gonna have to let it go. Like, he was right. He deserves his time too, and so do some of these other guys who haven't gotten a chance tonight. Wills comes back to the group and he is too giddy. That's what I tell you about somebody who's a real SG. Wills came back like, what happened? He sits down all giddy like he didn't just check the hell out of Chris. And he was like, I wasn't trying to disrespect you or do none of that. Wills was like, I didn't say you disrespected me. Don't put words in my mouth. I didn't say you did anything to me. I'm just telling you how I needed to react to get my time. And he said, I'm proud of how I handled the situation. And at the end of the day, it is what it is. And eventually Becca does come as promised, and she grabs Chris and they have a small conversation. And he again apologizes. I was gaining real feelings for you and I don't want you to lose hope in me. And she's just like, okay, basically like, thank you for the information. And it's unclear if Becca has accepted his apology. So it's time for the rose ceremony, y'all. They all get lined up and things just get down to the wire. We see people like Lincoln, Connor, Wills, Garrett, Blake. We already know he has a rose. All of them have roses at this point, and it gets down to the wire. The last rose is about to be given out, and all we see left is Chris, of course, and our friend John. Now at this point I was getting really nervous for John because I'm just like, he didn't have that much time this episode, but he had a really good episode last week, so I'm hoping that maybe that's something that could help him this week. But him going against Chris, I just saw his chances were slimming, and Becca calls that the final rose will be going to Chris, and I was just like, no. We love John. We love John. I think John, he's obviously going home, and he is just like the cutest, he just seems like the most, I don't know, something about his spirit seems very genuine and kind of geeky and a little bit nerdy, but at the core of it, a really good person. And I think that even though their connection wasn't the strongest, I think that's something that could never have happened between them without ample amount of time. And that's something that John does acknowledge on his way out. He says, I wish we had more time to get to know each other, because maybe that would have changed things. I think just with spirits like John, you need a little bit more time to develop a friendship and a solid foundation, and then maybe romantic feelings and all of that might kick in. I'm rooting for him, and I don't know if I see him in paradise, but I think John has a place in this franchise. He has a place, and I'm excited to kind of see him pop up in the future. So, oh John, it was so fun to have you, but it was your time, and I think you knew that, and everything went well in the end. You lasted pretty long. You got to the end of week 5. Not too bad. Not too bad, but You did say you created the Venmo app, so if you're looking for somebody. So that was the end of week 5, y'all. Yet another recap where the sun goes down on my ass. Like, damn it, I tried so hard. But nevertheless, I hope that y'all enjoyed this. If you made it all the way to the end, you already know you are a real OG. You are a real one. Thank you so much for the support. But you already know what you got to do at this point. You already know what you got to do, honey child, boo boo. You got to like, you got to subscribe, and you got to leave a comment. This season, it was dry, but I think that Las Vegas definitely gave it a little bit spice. It spiced up the season for me a little bit, and I think it was a great choice for them to choose Las Vegas for this episode. They did give us a teaser, and next week they will be going to Richmond. Y'all already know I'm coming for that drag next week, but stay tuned for that. But thank you so much again for watching, and do all the things you need to do. Y'all be good this week, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.